If happiness is what everyone wants, then here's a quiet question we rarely ask. Why didn't the Buddha teach happiness first? Today, we're taught to chase good feelings, positive thoughts, and constant comfort. We measure life by how happy we feel. And yet, the Buddha began somewhere else entirely. He taught awareness before happiness, not by accident, but by wisdom. This reflection isn't about forcing yourself to feel better. It's about understanding why seeing clearly must come before feeling good. Most of us grow up believing happiness is the goal. We're told to pursue it, protect it, and hold on to it once we find it. But this pursuit quietly creates pressure. We start asking ourselves, why am I not happy yet? Or, what's wrong with me if I don't feel good? Happiness turns into a performance, something we must maintain. The problem is that the happiness we chase is usually conditional. It depends on things going our way: success, approval, relationships, health, mood. When conditions are right, we feel good. When they change, happiness slips away. And because conditions always change, happiness becomes fragile. The Buddha saw this clearly. He taught that anything dependent on conditions will eventually fade. Pleasure fades, excitement fades, even joy fades. This doesn't mean happiness is bad. It means it cannot be a stable foundation. Emotionally, many people sense this truth already. The more tightly we chase happiness, the more anxious we become about losing it. We fear discomfort. We resist sadness. We panic when life doesn't feel good. Ironically, the pursuit of happiness creates more suffering. This is why the Buddha didn't begin with happiness. He saw that without understanding the nature of the mind, happiness would always be temporary, fragile, and easily shaken. Before teaching how to feel good, he taught how to see clearly. When the Buddha spoke about awareness, he wasn't talking about positive thinking or self-improvement. Awareness is not about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about seeing what is already happening, clearly and honestly. Awareness means noticing thoughts as thoughts, emotions as emotions, reactions as reactions. It happens before judgment, before fixing, before escaping. It's the simple act of seeing without immediately trying to change what you see. For example, when anger arises, most people either suppress it or act it out. Awareness does something different. It notices, anger is here, not I am angry, but anger is present. This small shift creates space. You are no longer inside the emotion, you are aware of it. The Buddha taught that this clear seeing is transformative on its own. When you see the mind clearly, without clinging or resistance, you are no longer controlled by it. Awareness doesn't make life perfect, but it makes you free. This is why awareness comes first. Without it, happiness is something you chase. With it, happiness becomes something that arises naturally, not forced, not fragile, and not dependent on everything going your way. Without awareness, the search for happiness often becomes a form of avoidance. We try to feel good in order to escape what feels uncomfortable. Pain, fear, emptiness, uncertainty. We distract ourselves with pleasure, positivity, or constant improvement, hoping happiness will cover what we don't want to face. But the Buddha understood that what we avoid does not disappear. It waits. And the more we run from it, the more power it seems to have over us. Awareness changes this pattern. Instead of escaping experience, awareness allows us to stay with it, not to indulge it, not to drown in it, simply to meet it as it is. When sadness arises, awareness doesn't say, "This shouldn't be here." It says, "This is here." That difference matters. The Buddha taught that suffering does not end through suppression or distraction, but through understanding. When we see clearly how the mind reacts, how it clings, resists, and identifies, those reactions begin to loosen on their own. Happiness built on avoidance is fragile. Happiness built on awareness is resilient. This is why awareness must come first. Only when we stop running from our experience can peace begin to grow from within it. The Buddha made a crucial distinction between pain and suffering. Pain is part of being human. Loss, disappointment, fear, and grief will arise. Suffering, however, comes from how we relate to that pain. Without awareness, pain becomes identity. I am broken. I am anxious. I am rejected. The experience defines us. With awareness, pain becomes information. Something felt, observed, and allowed, not something we become. Take heartbreak. Without awareness, the mind resists it endlessly, replaying memories and stories. With awareness, the ache is still there, but it is met with presence instead of panic. The pain softens because it is no longer being fought. The same is true for anxiety or criticism. Awareness creates space between you and the experience, and in that space, freedom appears. Not because the pain disappears, but because you are no longer trapped inside it. This is the quiet power of awareness. It doesn't remove pain from life. It removes the prison built around it. And that is where true peace begins. The Buddha did not reject happiness. He simply refused to build it on unstable ground. Instead of teaching happiness as excitement, pleasure, or constant positivity, he redefined it as something quieter and far more reliable. In Buddhism, happiness is not a peak emotion. It is steadiness. It is the ability to remain grounded when life shifts. It is non-reactivity in the face of praise or blame, gain or loss. This kind of happiness doesn't depend on life going your way. It comes from understanding how the mind works. When awareness is present, emotions still arise, but they no longer control you. Joy appears not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer fighting reality. There is a deep relief in that, a sense of ease, a quiet contentment that doesn't shout, but stays. This happiness feels very different from excitement. Excitement rises quickly and fades just as fast. Contentment is subtle, but enduring. It doesn't need stimulation. It doesn't need validation. It rests in clarity. This is the happiness the Buddha pointed to, not something you chase, but something that naturally emerges when awareness becomes your way of living. Modern culture teaches us to feel good first and figure things out later. Be positive, stay motivated, fix the mood, then everything else will fall into place. But this approach often leads to exhaustion rather than peace. Without awareness, happiness becomes a performance. We force optimism while ignoring what's actually happening inside. We skip over confusion, pain, and uncertainty, hoping a better feeling will replace them. But what is avoided always returns, often stronger. Buddhism teaches the opposite order. See clearly first, and peace follows. Awareness is not a detour, it is the foundation. When we understand our thoughts, reactions, and habits, the mind naturally settles. There is nothing left to force. This is why so many modern self-help shortcuts fail. They aim for the result without building the base. Without awareness, happiness becomes fragile and dependent on conditions. The Buddha's teaching is slower but deeper. It doesn't promise constant happiness. It offers something better, freedom from being ruled by the mind. And from that freedom, peace naturally grows. Before going any further, let's pause together for a brief moment. You don't need to change anything or try to feel calm. Just allow yourself to notice. Gently bring attention to your breath, not controlling it, not deepening it. Simply noticing the breath as it enters and leaves. If the mind wanders, that's okay. Awareness is not about stopping thoughts. It's about seeing that they come and go. Now notice the body, the weight of your body where it's supported, the subtle sensations in your hands, your shoulders, your face. There may be tension, warmth, restlessness, or ease. Whatever is here, let it be here. Notice thoughts as well, maybe a comment, an image, a judgment appears. Instead of following it, simply recognize, a thought is here, and let it pass, like a sound fading in the distance. There is nothing to fix, nothing to improve, just this simple noticing. In this moment, you may sense something quiet underneath everything, a stillness that doesn't depend on feeling good. That is awareness. And already, you can feel how different this is from chasing happiness. Awareness doesn't demand anything, it simply allows. Awareness is not something you practice for a while and then move past. In the Buddha's teaching, awareness becomes the way you live. It is not a step on the path, it is the path. Over time, when awareness is present in daily life, something subtle changes. You begin to meet experiences as they are, instead of constantly trying to reshape them. Thoughts lose their grip. Emotions move more freely. Life feels less like a problem to solve and more like something to inhabit. Peace doesn't arrive dramatically. It comes quietly. You may not even notice it at first. It shows up as less resistance, fewer inner arguments, more space around difficult moments. You stop demanding happiness from life. And strangely, that's when contentment appears. This is why the Buddha placed awareness before happiness. Happiness that is chaste is fragile. Happiness that follows awareness is steady. There is a simple truth at the heart of this teaching. Happiness follows awareness the way a shadow follows the body. You don't chase the shadow, you walk in the light. When awareness becomes your way of being, happiness no longer needs to be pursued. It arrives on its own, softly, naturally, and without conditions. The Buddha taught awareness first because it lasts. Happiness without awareness fades when life changes, but awareness without happiness still brings freedom. When you learn to see clearly, you no longer depend on feeling good to be at peace. You begin to rest in understanding instead of chasing comfort. So don't start by searching for happiness. Start by noticing what is here now. From awareness, peace grows naturally. If this reflection helped you, subscribe for more Buddhist wisdom, clarity, and inner freedom.